focus on people that produce. So if you plan to live in prosperity, you are going to have to prepare. You're going to have prioritize. When you can influence people to follow you, when you can influence people to do exactly what you need them to do, and then stretch them out of their comfort zone to do something they never thought they could do, that's leadership. There is an order for you to be productive. Now, how many people use daily active to-do list? Do you guys want to wrap up your conversations? How was that? Was it interesting? Did you learn something about someone that you didn't know? Thank you. And she did bully me. She did bully me. I'm excited to be here to share with you guys today, leading for change. That's a heavy subject. Leading and change in one sentence is a heavy subject. Leadership is heavy because as leaders, you know that it's a lot of internal things that you have to do to be a great leader. When you're responsible for leading others, when you're responsible for changing lives, it's a lot. It's heavy. Change is heavy because you have to do that to be a better leader. And most of us don't get excited about change. So it's exciting to talk about leading for change because we need both leading and change for movement. You have to have both of them for movement. So it's exciting. Leadership is something I'm excited about. I'm a leadership transformation coach. I love leading. I love talking. I love sharing, training, developing. That is my passion. Doing it for 20 years with organizations and realized that it was a skill set that I was pretty good at. So I really wanted to hone the skills. So I enjoy leading and training leadership. Now, change, on the other hand, maybe not so much. That requires inward work when you have to focus on change. And you think about it, we all know that change is the one constant in the world. We all know that. But it's the one thing that we're programmed to resist. Why do we resist it? Because change is going out of your comfort zone into the great unknown. That's what we're most uncomfortable with, is getting out of our comfort zone and going into the unknown. That's uncomfortable. So if you have change on one hand and your comfort zone on the other end, which one do you lean towards? Well, if you're like me, you really lean towards comfort because we're creatures of comfort. Would you agree? Yes. We're all creatures of comfort. So change requires you to move out of what's comfortable for you. But I will tell you this, there's one thing I believe with all of my heart about comfort. Comfort kills, it steals, and it destroys. Comfort will kill your growth, it will steal your dreams, and it will destroy your potential. Think about your relationships. Get comfortable in your marriage too much because the time has gone on. Somebody's going to feel a little neglected. Somebody's going to feel like, hey, what's going on? You used to open the door for me. You used to make sure that you pulled out my seat, but you got comfortable. And then things go on. So comfort can be dangerous when you don't get out of your comfort zone. I want to share with you guys a story that was my first interaction with leading for change. And it's a story that I was pushed into change, which normally happens for most of us. Situations force us to change. But it was the first time that I realized what leading for change was. So go with me back to my high school days. I was in the 11th grade. It was the end of my 11th grade year. And my mother asked me if I was trying out for the drill team. Now, I had tried out for the drill team my 10th grade year, and I didn't make the team. So my mother asked me if I was going to try out for at the end of my 11th grade year for my senior year. And I said, nope, I was embarrassed last year, didn't make the team, I'm not going through that again. My mother said, oh yeah, you're going to try out. Now, I don't know about you, I was raised in a different era than the young people today. There was no debate, there was no discussion, I couldn't prove my point, I couldn't say why, I could think in my head what I wanted to think. But then I said, yes ma'am. So I tried out for the drill team. You tried out in groups of 3, and my 10th grade year, my mother couldn't be there. But my 11th grade year, she said, I'll be there for the tryouts. I tried out for the drill team, and the way that you found out if you made the team is the next day, there would be a list of all the people's names on the drill team's director's classroom door. So the next day, I got up, nervous, butterflies in my stomach, because I'd already had a bad experience the previous year. So I get there, make my way up the stairs, look at the door. My name is not there again. And so when I get home from school, my mother's all excited. Did you make the drill team? I said in my mind, no, I didn't make the drill team. I can't believe you got me going through this twice. I'm embarrassed. But I said out loud, no, ma'am, I didn't make the drill team. And she said, did Cheryl and Cheryl make the team? Because there was a Cheryl on one side of me and another Cheryl on the other side of me. Cheryl on the right side of me visibly made mistakes and forgot the routine. Cheryl on the left side of me was sunburnt from head to toe, couldn't do her high kicks and couldn't do her split. And I said, yes, they made the team. My routine, flawless, flawless. I knew that routine in and out. In my sleep, you can ask my sister. I kicked her a couple of times in the bed. I knew that routine. And my mother said, something's not right. Went on about my business in school. 3 weeks later, I get a call, Becky Smith, to the principal's office. Now, that doesn't happen to me. That didn't happen to me. Not because I was a great kid. I was good at covering up. I could hide what I did where it wouldn't get revealed. So I walked to the principal's office, and my mother's sitting there. Now I'm really scared because I'm like, what did I do that I forgot about that they have found out about? And so I got this look on my face like, why did they call her? We get in and we sit down, and the principal, really short, 5'6", Caucasian man, bald in the top, he stands up at his desk and he said, Becky, come on in. We want to take this opportunity to invite you to be a part of the Marble Falls drill team for your senior year. It's a great way to end your high school year. And I looked at him and I said, but I didn't make the team. My name didn't appear on the list. And he just looked at me. So I look at my mother, and she, with love in her eyes, said, yes, you did. See, what I didn't know is that my mother had become Inspector Bessie, and she had turned into Columbo. But because Cheryl made it, and she saw the routine, and she saw mine was flawless, she was like, something's not right. So to make the drill team, you had to have a 3.0 or higher. Each one of your teachers had to give you an excellent in citizenship, and you had to pass the dance tryouts. And our judges was the San Antonio Spurs. Their Silver Steppers were the judges. My mother went and got a transcript of my grades, so she knew what that was. She went to every teacher personally for them to tell her, how did you grade Becky in citizenship? All graded me excellent. How she found the San Antonio drill team Super Steppers, to this day, I still don't know. But you can't mess with a mama and the kids now. She found out some kind of way, and I had the highest score of everyone that tried out on the team. What you don't know is I went to high school in a small town on the outskirts of Dallas called Marble Falls, Texas. There were 3,500 people in the community. It was 95% Caucasian. They had never had an African American on the team, and they didn't plan on having one. I had made the team my 10th grade year and was not put on the team. In my 11th grade year, that was going to happen again until Inspector Becky got involved. I looked at my mother, and at that time, I was hurt. I was mad. I felt rejected. I was upset. So I looked at the principal and said, I don't want to be on your team. You don't want me? I don't want you. And I was doing everything in my power not to shed a tear in front of him. Y'all know how we get. You're not going to see me cry. My mother looked at me and she asked the principal, she said, could you excuse us for a minute? Yes, she put him out of his office. He walked out of the office, she closed the door, and she grabbed my hands. Then I cried, because Mama could see me cry. Then a tear fell down my eye, and my mother wiped a tear away, and she said, Becky, I know you are hurt. You have every right to be. I know it does not feel good. I get it. But I need you to look at this thing differently. What I need you to see is that it's no longer about you. It's now about every other black girl that wants to kick their legs on this team. One day, someone has to open the door, and you have the key. When my mother said that, my whole mental changed from the anger, the hurt, the frustration to I could be the person that makes an impact on someone else's life. And I'll tell you what I was thinking. The first thing I thought about is I could be the Rosa Parks of Marble Falls drill team. I am in it. I'm going to be the Rosa Parks. My mother said, you have to do this for everyone else. If you don't, this could continue to happen. It was the first time I had to lead for change. And she told me, now, this is not going to be easy. The first is never easy. But it's going to be rewarding because you're going to help someone else. That created a shift in my mindset. And there were 3 things that I learned from that situation that I think are beneficial to you today in leading in the coalition of 100 black women and in your jobs that you lead outside of this, in your families. There are 3 things that I think is beneficial to you today. The first thing I learned was how to connect to meaningful work. How to connect to something meaningful. Because honestly, when I tried out for the drill team, my goal was to put on that short skirt and go to travel around and kick up my legs, meet all the boys, and try to talk to as many people, because I was going to be cute. So that was my goal. When this situation happened, I understood there was different meaning behind me dancing on that team. And you have to do that today as well. What is the meaning behind what you do for 100 black women? What is the meaning behind what you do in your daily jobs every day? It has to be bigger than money, title, position, clout. It has to be bigger than that. And it has to be bigger than being cute. I know that's a lot, ladies. But that was my focus. But you have to learn to connect to meaningful work. The second thing that I learned was how to commit to values. Even when people have abandoned their values, the principal, the school system, the drill team director, her team, they had abandoned their values and made a decision to do something that was unethical, something that would hurt another individual. But my mother kept me grounded to hang on to my values of strength, determination, willpower. And in that situation, it gave me this thing that I have had with me from age 16 to this day. You cannot tell me what I cannot do. You cannot tell me what, because if I think I can do it, I'll show you I can do it. You have to learn to connect to your values. The value system that my mother raised me on, I had to hold true to that and not get involved with, which is where I was going as a 16-year-old hurt. I was going to abandon all of that because my emotions got in the way. Now, how often does that happen to us? And we abandon the values that we hold true, and situations will happen, or we'll be working on a committee or be in the workplace and something will come up, or we're asked to do something that goes against it, and we'll just kind of deny that value and not apply the value that we actually hold true. You have to stay true to your values, because when you don't, there's something on the inside of you that just burns because you're not being true to yourself. The third thing I learned in that situation was to contribute with a purpose. Because now I was not on this team just to be on this team. There was a bigger purpose that I was serving. And I look at purpose as the difference that each individual is supposed to make in the world and in the work that you do. So how do you contribute with purpose in what you do for the 100 black women? We just had inductees. Things are going to be different. Anytime you get new people coming into a group, things change when you get new people coming in. Different personalities, different ideas. Everybody has a great idea and really want to help the coalition, and then heads start to butt. But you have to remember the purpose in what you're doing. And it has to be personal, your own personal purpose. What is it that you as an individual is supposed to give to someone else, to help another individual, to bring life to someone else? What is it that you're supposed to do? Those three things helped me. And what's crazy is I didn't realize it at the age of 16. But as I have grown through life, realized that that was a foundation for me. It was a defining moment. What is your defining moment in leadership? What is your defining moment in change? We have to move beyond the comfort, and we have to move into a place where change is not always easy. We know that. It's not always comfortable, but it can be great. I'll tell you this, whether you want to or not, change is going to happen. It's going to be here. It will exist. So you might as well grab a hold of it and ride the train. Thank you. Oh, picture.